Mic check 1 2. I see Dragonfly up in here. Happy rising to you. Yeah, it's another random one. Late. I said I was going to be back in a second. That was several hours ago at the shop. And there's Chiro sounds. I like how that sounds. Salute to you, Chi. And Dragonfly, of course. Dragonfly usually gets the gold. Chi's not far behind. I appreciate y'all coming through. Let's try and get comfortable here. Yeah, we went live briefly at the shop to give y'all an update on the, what is it? It's the arcade, the Pac-Man arcade. Came with several different games, but it's called I think the arcade 1-Up Deluxe. And it's a nice size, I guess you could call it a console, arcade console. And it's bigger than the original one we had. And yeah, we got it all set up. Thanks to my nephew yesterday. We all went at it, started putting things together. And it was about halfway done when it was time to head out of the shop. And today, my bro's queen came through and she was like, that's her kind of stuff. So she got to it and completed the other half pretty much on her own. So salute to her. Y ahí está Gustavo. Bienvenidos, Gustavo. So yeah, super cool. Hopefully y'all checked it out. And feel free to come on by the shop and play a few games. I got challenged already by Mark. Yeah, he said he'd take me out on some Galaga. And I do believe him, but there's a few games I'm pretty good at. And I didn't get any feedback. I usually don't. From the Bigfoot game. Anyone check that out? We shared that here recently. And I'm anxious to hear any updates on that. I definitely want to get that game. And yeah, I'm sure it'll be streamable, right? I would imagine these days most games are. And yeah, I'm not much of a gamer at all, but that game there would have me playing. So we'll keep an ear out for that. Anyone else out there get any updates on that game? Let me know. ASAP. Por favor. Gustavo says WhatsApp or what app? That should be a new app there, Gustavo. You should patent that. Or maybe start that yourself and it'll be the same thing as WhatsApp, but yours would be what app? Yeah, anyone? I don't use WhatsApp as much anymore. I know a lot of people do. And I keep it on. Sometimes I get some notifications there. But yeah, there's a few other options out there that I do use as well besides WhatsApp. Is there any other new ones anyone's heard about? Let me know as well. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna hang out, but keep it moving. We've been checking out the live web feeds, different web feeds out there. We'll do a little bit of that. Let's see. Oh, got a notification there from Redheaded Black Belt. We'll be checking out her site in a little bit here as well. Let's see. Loss of yeah, she's got some updates on a couple missing persons cases from the area up there, Northern California, that we touched on, and we'll read up on that and see what's going on there. And what else we got? We got some local news too. Just so much going on. You could go on and on about the world, right? But I'm selecting a few things that just have been in my mind, and we'll touch on that, and we'll see where those portals lead us. Excuse me as I clear my throat. And then what else was going on today? Try to think of the highlights. And remember, we're freestyling this off the top of the dome here. Got the video game. Hmm. Yeah, some things I can't talk about. Some things I probably should. And as they pop up into mind, we'll shine light on that. Let's see what's popping out there. I hear the helicopter. See what's popping out in Catalina. We'll check out the Fox cams really quick. And actually, before we do that, oh yeah, the chopper's chopping right now. Let's see here. There's a few articles on the sideline here, and there's some interesting ones. Maybe some of you have checked into them, but yeah, obviously the first one's been making big news there. Um, a lot of there's several channels I follow on the tube and on Insta and stuff, and they just get into the world of hip hop and a lot of stuff going on in that world right now. And so this is one of the hot topics here, and pretty wild. Hmm. There goes the chopper again. We'll see if we get any Citizens app notifications. See if the mic picks that up. Yeah, the second article as well was another pretty crazy one. And there's Jeff. What's up, Jeff? How's your evening going? Yep. You hear the ghetto bird? Can you hear it? I wonder. There's a lot of sound. It's a lot of city sounds that pop off in the background, and a lot of times I'm like, can y'all hear that? I wish you could. And actually, speaking of choppers and all that, I got AXN News on the phone here, and he's out in the streets of LA right now, stringing and streaming. And we'll take a look. Looks like he's down by the crypto center at the moment. So he's like downtown area. And Jeff's at work. Have a good, safe night there. And again, yeah, so a lot of things happening. We'll touch base on them. This cleanup efforts begin at luxury RV lot taken over by squatters. Yikes! And this newsreel, I actually went to go visit grandma last night. What's up, Hazel? Good to see you. Welcome. We're going to be talking about a few issues, local local issues here. And so I went to go visit Granny, touch base. She doesn't stay far from where I'm at here, so that's good. And actually her birthday's coming up. Oh yeah. Real soon here, and she's got plans. She's gonna light it up. She's gonna go have some fun, I hear. So looking forward to that. I will be doing something separate. So she's doing her own private thing. And I'm glad that she is gonna be out doing something. And I'll let you know how all that goes, because yeah, she rolls a particular way. Anyway, much love and salute to Granny. And when I pulled up yesterday, this was on the TV, and we were watching. It's funny. I went to go greet her, and this was on, and it was just like, whoa! Even my sister popped up, my niece, my nephew. We're all kind of like all our heads just over our shoulders and stuff, and checking out this particular newsreel, and it was bad, real bad. And I don't know how the place was taken over, but if you get a chance and if you could stomach some pretty rough stuff, check this article out. And this one seems pretty morbid, but interesting as well. I do get into things like this quite a bit, just to, I don't know, keep an eye on like humanity and see what it's up to. And it is wild as ever. This one says a Hawaii doctor accused of trying to take out his wife on a hiking trail. Mm. And looks like the Dodgers home opener. Yeah, people out here get really excited for them. I don't, I played a lot of baseball growing up, but I don't follow it as much. But being here, man, there's the fans out here are wild, and you know they did pretty good recently. So we'll see how this season goes. But yeah, let's check out the Catalina cam. Another socked in day. Dogs are going wild out there. Actually, I had a coyote sighting yesterday. Got to see the coyote. So that's probably who's running around out there. And there's Woo Reezy. What up? What's he saying? Hey, Bigfoot Dorf. When is the last time you spoke with Neil? Oh, it's been a minute. You were my link to him. I haven't heard much. Hopefully he's well, because I have not heard from him at all. Opening day MLB was yesterday. Someone throw up that YouTube emoji, the baseball with the, that one's funny. Catalina looking pretty chill, the waters there. And that buoy is visible in the back there. So not too much funk in the sky out there, I guess. I don't know. I would imagine it'd be real murky. Out here it kind of looks like again the overlay, the screen there. Those creepy looking trees, and there's a couple Sasquatches behind there. Somewhere we'll see if they pop up. And his channel is also, damn. Yeah, pretty weird. Pretty weird. Yeah, things like that happen with people sometimes. online. I've noticed, especially on because I'm more active on the YouTube and speaking of like platforms, we are on a new one. We're kicking it off on Kick now, and so we'll see how that goes there. Hopefully, someone pops on and notices, and then yeah, we got the Twitch going, X, Rumble, and the Insta. What else we got? Finally figuring out this multi-stream thing. So salute to everyone out there in those different platforms. If you're checking in, I noticed one or two new followers on the different sites there we named, and yeah, much appreciated. Hopefully things continue to grow. And we'll be sharing some links also here. Let's see. I threw a few of them up. They aren't live links, but I guess if you jump on like, cause I'm running this through Riverside FM software, streaming software, and I heard them say if you jump on like somehow on the Riverside and watch it somehow, I haven't quite figured that out. And they say that the links that I do put up should be clickable there. Damn, took quite a bit to get that word out. But yeah, so this is, let's see, boom, we'll throw it up. Bam. Now it's popping. Before we were sharing the links, and that's the pilled one there, and they were super tiny. I noticed. I've been watching some of the replays, and I noticed the last stream I was reading some Bigfoot reports, which we also got fresh ones from the sites we've been checking out. So we'll take a look at that. And when I was reading the last reports on the last stream, the map wasn't showing. And I was like, dang it. So that was the mess up for that stream. And we're learning. We are learning how to navigate these lives here, and slowly and surely things are working out. Thank goodness I feel comfortable enough to even jump on here. Sometimes I hesitate. Even right before I jumped on here, I was like, oh shit, could have gone on way earlier, but got caught up, did a few bowls up, thought about anything else we could talk about. There's a Rumble one. And so yeah, if you just type that into the search bar, should take you to the page there. Let's see what's Santa Monica. Y'all want to look? Let's look at Santa Monica. Why not? And there was a speed chase the other night. Anyone catch the speed chase? Smoking Scan had it going on, and the dude took a van. It was like a white work van, and the chase was getting dangerous. And the dude ended up mashing up against it was a Tesla, from what I could tell. And he took off running, and he was right by the Santa Monica Pier here. He ran onto the pier. All right, this is the night before. And the night before, we were checking out AXN, which we'll show here in a little bit. The stringer. There's two speed chases that night that AXN was covering. Both speed chases got terminated. Yeah. And the following day, Smoke and Scan again covered three speed chases, all here in LA. So yeah, it's been one of those weeks. It's almost like the that little bit of heat those couple days, those 2 days I think we had of actually it was one day. We are up in the high 80s. It seemed like that activated uh some of these people. You know, we always out here, we know summertime, you know, watch out. Speaking of summertime, I'm really I don't want to say worried, but I'm just wondering about this summer, you know. We've had a gnarly start to the year out here with, you know, those fire situations. So I'm thinking if that happened during that time of year, I could only imagine summer. So yeah, we'll be aware and yeah, you know, just keeping an eye out, keeping ears out, you know, sharing information. Uh and I know one of the big things is to try and prep, you know, as much as possible, not only for that, but just anything, you know. You never know, we might get one. They talk about the big one all the time and yeah, that's always in the back of the mind, I think, for most people in Cali. And we've been getting a few shakers here and there. And so just, you know, kind of like a self reminder there about yeah, these types of things. And yeah, it seems like several months have gone by since the situations out here, and it's like you know, can't forget those things. And I know you know, we get caught up in life, and yeah, it's like, oh, forgot that happened. You know, we get distracted with other things like what is it, the stuff they're finding in Egypt right now. You know, is that real, or is it something? Is it another distraction? What's going on over there? Haven't been keeping, you know, I've been hearing about it, but haven't dove into it. Anyone else? There's Tim Moth, El Tim Mothman. What's up, Timo? Timo, Timoteo. And you know, I like Timo. I forget who first put it up in the chat, and I was like, yeah, Timo, because we have a good friend of ours stays up in Trinity County, California, and actually he used to work for forestry, and so I've gotten a lot of insight. He's never had a Bigfoot sighting, and he lives right along the Trinity River. Awesome area there, and I'm like, man, are you serious? You never? But one time they did, and he's supposed to hook me up with one of his. He's retired now. Old partners from work, and he's like he was higher up than him, I believe. But yeah, they were out, I think, assessing something one time, and they heard. I guess the guy heard. I don't know if Timo was with him at the time, but they believe he was, and they heard like the gnarliest scream. He said, and so yeah, I've gotten that out of him. And yeah, he's a Timo as well. So salute to Timo. Hope to see him soon. And he knows any sort of activity of sorts, any squatchy activity like that going up in Trinity County, uh, that's my guy. He'd let me know. So yeah, I think he was in the paper once for finding one of the biggest, actually finding the biggest ponderosa. I don't know if it was in the state, in the county, or maybe the world. Here comes the ghetto bird again. Let's see. Oh, what's the kick handle? Let's see. Peep it. Ghetto bird zipping back through. Let's see. Kick handle. Boom. Hopefully that works there. Finally fixed the Rumble. I got to fix the Rumble link on the YouTube channel. because the link that I posted there, they make it difficult there on Rumble to share the channel. But I figured it out. It's quite easy once you get it. Uh, just like everything else, seems like. And here's our Mount Wilson view. You can see the hesitate to call them clouds, but a mixture of clouds and a bunch of other funk. Um, and it looks like the camera's pointing towards some of the facilities there. You can see some of the towers. And as always, keep an eye out for anomalies. Yeah, so the Rumble link over on the channel takes you straight to the Rumble site, not my channel there. But we'll fix that up tonight. Hopefully, we'll remember. And yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good week, enjoying the week. And I don't know, Woo Reezy, should we put out a missing person sign for our friend Woo Poo there? It's kind of weird, and hopefully he's okay. We do care about him. And yeah, it'd be good to get an update. What's up, T Bone? I see T Bone stepping in hot to this year. What's cooking, T? And I see Andy, Sir Cowley. Welcome, welcome. We're just gonna be hanging out here. We'll see. Oh, Gerald, salute, Senor G. Yes, yes. Good to see you, Gerald. Gerald's Gerald's always busy, I would imagine. But then I imagine also Gerald get some nice breaks. I think Gerald knows how to chill. And good to see him here as well. So checking out Mount Wilson. What's this light over here? What's going on up here? What is that? It's looking kind of funny. Keep an eye on that. I don't know what'd be lighting up like that around there. And yeah, let's just observe this for a bit. You never know. Some of these live feeds, you'd be surprised. People capture some things. Last time on the Catalina cam, we seen a few what looked like dolphins cruising by. Anyone seeing this here on the left side up here? Keep in mind this so these towers up here on Mount Wilson, right next, like literally right next to it. Like there's a road up here. And that takes you to the Mount Wilson Observatory. So you got the observatory there, but this is dang it. All right. We'll check that out later. Cool little view of Mount Wilson. So yeah, the Mount Wilson Observatory is up that way, but it is midnight unless I think special people, here it goes again, get special privileges to some of these locations. I would imagine on certain special, like the observatory, Griffith Park. I would imagine maybe certain, maybe astronomers and other types of folks with those VIP passes maybe get let into certain areas. I have no idea what this could be up here. It looks pretty weird. Check it out a little longer, and we have captured orbs, the orbs that we see down in the shop area. There's one time we came up to the Mount Wilson area and we shared that on a stream also. I think a couple times might have. Uh and we did a little exploration of the observatory and hung out in the parking lot. And I have been up to these towers a couple times. One time it was actually snowing, and another time, what was it? Might have been daytime or something like that. And we also covered the guy that's missing out of this area. Still no updates on him. And he's going on maybe 2 years or something. And we covered other cases from the surrounding area also. Still no updates on that. But again, we got some updates from some cases we covered up north, and we'll dive into that right after I check this out a little longer. I don't know what the heck. That's looking weird to me again. Anyone want to guess? Yeah. What's that? There's a movie about that. Is it the men that stare at goats? So yeah, a lot of strange happenings up in these mountains. I'll bring up the thermal footage again that we my nephew captured, and he's the one who's been hanging at the shop, who was helping build the arcade, Isaiah. And yeah, he would jump on. We got to get him on here. He's willing to jump on anytime, and he'll talk about that whole situation. And he did come along on the follow up and explain the second sighting he had. And yeah, we have not been back since, but hopefully, really soon here, we'll be heading back up. I think the boys are about ready to do that. And so anyway, yeah, weird stuff that Mount Wilson area there. Oh, what was about remote viewing? And T-Bone, did you place your order? T-Bone's a great support. I don't know what T-Bone's ordering, but T-Bone, you ordering T-Bones tonight? What's going on? Order up. And yeah, Gerald, please always post, don't, hesitate. Post that link. Gerald's got a shop. Get your shopping bags, y'all. He got that merch. And quite a few of us, we'll see who else pops in here. Anyone else got a store or got merch? Oh, T-Bone stares at his dog Dove. And T-Bone, did you ever check that video that I told you last that was the screen was all black? Maybe you meant to post it like that, but yep. And I've been hearing some of the information lately too, having to do with actors and stuff. Tonight, what was it? Maverick Approach was on again with Big Homie. And a salute to them. They've been really going into the whole cult stuff. And let's see if we could pull up Maverick's channel here. Give me a second so y'all have an idea who we're talking about. And yeah, they were just getting into some of the current events. And what was cool is that this time they've been going live from I think it's maybe one of Maverick's houses or something like that. It's really nice. Looks like a really nice place. Looks like a almost like one of those green screens. But it's the real deal. And Big Homie's been chilling with them. They've been doing live streams pretty much every day, every night this week, and they're multi-streaming as well on different platforms. On YouTube, it was about maybe I want to say 30 something, maybe 40, 50, 60 something people up in there, but over I think on his X, it might have been like six, 700 people. But yeah, it's good to see, a big, cause he's big on Instagram. To see him starting his growth on the YouTube side, and I'm sure it's gonna blow up. So this is it here, the Maverick approach. And today, they were in a different section of the house, and in the background, they had the same Pac-Man game. They had the Street Fighter one, and I forget what other one they have, like three or four of them there. And actually, those little arcade consoles come with you could buy the matching stool to sit on with the same whatever the logo may be, the theme, you get that on your chair. But yeah, they've been going in on some pretty deep stuff. And so anyone into that occult and you know symbolism and the media, and they've actually mentioned some ET stuff. They've been getting into like psychedelics. Also, they touched on ETs. Did I say that? ETs, yeah, or maybe not. Also, they brought up Dogman, so they're going to be getting to that. And there's a cut I want of a remix. It's an interview with Big Homie, and I forget the name of the rap artist. And they're getting into Sasquatch, and it's hilarious. I reposted it. Seen it on. It got shared with me over on Instagram, and so I'm gonna try to find it. And I believe I know the. I know I seen the interview parts of it, but I didn't see that part. And so if you're on the IG, you probably seen that on my stories. But it's hilarious and worthy of a remix, I think. Speaking of remixing, we've been mixing it up quite a bit here, getting ready for Sunday's gig. And yeah, got the whole shebang set up here, ready to go. Maybe we'll do a little sound check towards the end and see how it sounds. Yeah, anyone follow Maverick Approach on IG? It's a good one. Boom. What's the chat saying? Let's see. Yeah, Daryl, check out the jersey shirts. And what's up, Tim Mothman? You haven't posted. Have you been posting on Instagram? I haven't noticed anything. Been checking my IG a little here and there. No posts or anything really, but sharing a few things, checking out some stuff, and I'm always getting stuff shared over there. So I do check out the Instagram shares. And what's up, Instagram? Anybody out there? Yeah, come on over to the YouTube side. Also, we got our friends chopping it up here, and it gets pretty fun sometimes. And again, the we're gonna go from light to dark on the topics here. So a heads up. I know those certain things aren't for everyone, and yeah, no, there is some light and good positive feedback and on some things we will get into. Let's see what else is popping up there in the world. BD's world, I guess you could say. Yeah, there's a couple of new Bigfoot reports. Maybe we'll dive into that. Let's see here. Why not? So we've been checking out the Bigfoot mapping project quite frequently, actually on the daily, and we read off a few the other night. And I was trying to show the map like this, but apparently it didn't work out. But I did read off the reports as best as possible, and I wasn't wasn't too bad. Sometimes the reading could get a little difficult for me, depending on the size of the letters and all that. And I try to, I'm learning how to zoom in on things and click things. And so, anyway, look, if you see here, hopefully you can see. So I had it on like this last time, and it wasn't showing. Hopefully it's showing, but just in case it is, and we'll tap again. There's a new dot there, green dot. We touched on this British Columbia one up here. So I was trying to read this, but it wasn't visible. It's off the coast, so I think it might be on an island there or possibly a peninsula. And what I could have done is, let's see, is zoom in. And let's see, anyone know this area of Canada? So it's right across Prince Rupert. Heard of that? And then they got the Guayihanas National Park Reserve and Haida Heritage Site. Sounds interesting. So yeah, we read that off. And then California here has a new one. And then let's see, I think I noticed another one. We did touch on these blue ones, the Nebraska one, Arkansas, Tennessee here, Ohio, this New York one, and also this Boston one. So it looks like up here we did touch on that one, Northern Michigan. So I guess I think it's just this California one that might be the newest one. But yeah, several new ones have popped up all throughout this past week. We've been touching on them. So this one right here looks like it's in the Sierras to me. This one, this green dot here, seems to be in the Sierras, and I'll zoom in on it and we'll read this report. Yeah, so I see here Sierra National Forest. There's the Inyo National Forest, Stanislaus National Forest up here. There's Yosemite National Park. So I'm sure right under that's going to have Sequoia. Oh, right down here. Kings Canyon National Park and Sequoia National Park. Death Valley over here. And ooh, look at that. Squatches are popping up there. So it looks like fish camp. Sounds like I like the name of that camp there. And I'm sure Bigfoot does too. So let's check this out. All right. Date and time of sighting 3/3/2025, 1:03 p.m. Afternoon sighting. There's no height, no sex on that, no vocalization, and disclaimer, and then describe your encounter. I did not have a sighting or encounter. I just found footprints. Monday, March 3rd, I arrived at work around 6:30 a.m. It had snowed a couple of overnight. Let's see. It had snowed a couple overnight on top of the 4 or 5 inches from Saturday. So I began plowing and clearing the snow as my coworker began cleaning and prepping the kitchen. By 9 a.m., more staff arrived. Around 9:30 a.m., one of the naturalist teaching staff began inspecting our trails, seeing if he needed to stomp them down in prep for students to use them that day. It was then when he first noticed these tracks near a trail down by our shop. My boss was notified about it, so he took a quick look. Both people thought the tracks were odd, but were too busy to linger and didn't investigate any further. Hmm. I was too busy at the moment to investigate, but had the chance to look at these tracks after lunch. I located the area by the shop where the tracks were first spotted, and I began following them and took pictures and video along the way. Right on. So definitely gotta applaud that. I yeah, yeah. I'd like to check it out too. And recently we talked about again. I'll bring it up on Small Town Monsters. Alex Petakov. They were in up in Maine, up at a firehouse or a watchtower or something like that. Snow, super cold, and they mentioned about a guy in that area or in another area, I think, that was known to, I guess, hike barefoot in the snow in certain areas. I don't know how long he'd go for or what, so it is a thing. So something to keep in mind there. Yeah, I wonder. It didn't say anything about the size of the tracks or anything or what they look like, but this area here of California is notorious for the Sasquatches. So very possible that you got something walking around there. So yeah, cool. New report there into the Bigfoot mapping project. And there's Pancho Zorcho breaking discoveries. Welcome, welcome. Is that you, Denise? Is that Denise? Maybe not. You don't have to say greetings. And so another one we've been checking out, which is the more popular uh, B, Bigfoot database for reports, sightings, happenings, and that's the BFRO. And they have been putting in more of the strange uh, reports or more strange details of reports, which they've been known not to put in. Some say, I don't know. I wonder, but yeah, I thought forget there were some members who have actually spoken out and said that they did stuff like that, like tailored the reports to fit, I guess, their beliefs. So like some of the weirder stuff would get cut out. But no, we've seen recently a report with an orb in it. And so yeah, they got another new report in, and we'll take a look at that. And this is for those that don't have an idea what we're talking about here. It's the BFRO, Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, and we'll take a quick look at that recent report. So they got these links, clickable links here, and I was peeping it out earlier, and so we read all of these recent reports. Check them out. There's some good ones. Even one close out of our county up in Oregon, but we're in SoCal right now. Too bad ain't no reports coming out of here, but we did get that thermal footage. What was that thing? All right, Ohio, Butler County. Here we go. All right. Report 77058 Class B encounter. Yeah, they have different classes for the types of encounter you have. The more intense, your face to face is going to be a Class A plus. And so submitted by witness Angela Zimmerman on Friday, March 8th, 2024. And so yeah, so from what I hear is they have reports also. BFRO got reports that they don't post publicly also. So you know, if you got that VIP type of access like we talked about earlier, then you could get your hands or your eyes on those reports that aren't out there. Not sure if that's true, but I've heard. So, let's see. Season Ohio, March is the month. Date 3/5. So last year, 2024, Butler County. Location details: take SR 27 north to Hamilton, New London Road, and take a left at the next crossroad, which is Lehigh Road, nearest town Ross. Nearest road, Hamilton, New London Road, and what we just said, observed. I was going out to start my car at 4:05 a.m. Jeez. Little 15 minutes before 4:20 there to head to work on Tuesday, March 5th. Just as I opened my car door, I heard what sounded like severe weather siren. Huh. This is Ohio. We've talked about that Ohio howl. Sounds very much like a siren, at least to me. Let's see here. It was totally quiet morning with no wind or animal sounds. I could not hear any traffic noise either. I stood there for a second and heard the howl sound again twice. A few seconds later, I heard the samurai chatter briefly. So, and it's funny, Donnie Cho out there. Y'all know Donnie Cho? Donnie Cho's like, they should change. You shouldn't call it samurai chatter. And yeah, he might be right. And so they heard the samurai chatter briefly, and it led right into another howl. That's when I knew it wasn't the weather sirens, and I jumped in my car and left in a hurry. Yikes. There was no visual sighting, just the howling sounds. Heard what sounded like samurai chatter along with the howls. Other witnesses know, other stories know. Time and conditions. Heavily wooded area and follow up investigation. So they usually send out an investigator because they got investigators all over the place, the BFRO, and usually someone will take the case nearby and will follow up as much as possible. And this is the follow up report here. You can peep that out. Uh, what was I gonna? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta keep in mind, these days with more people getting into Bigfoot and everything, that it's not a neighbor or someone out squatching and call blasting sounds. Maybe they're call blasting the Ohio howl and the Sierra sounds. And so you got a mix of those two. Could be. Hopefully that was showing. Was the page showing there? Hopefully it was. I didn't click it to show it like this. I gotta keep an eye out, make sure it does show, because I want you to see the report that I'm reading, right? So anyway, check that out, BFRO. Check out the latest reports over on the Bigfoot mapping project as well. So that's the latest squatchy news here. And feel free to send in your report. Bless up, Ross. Ross Larry in the house, man. Yes, King. Light it up. More fire. Yeah. Much love to Larry. Ross Larry out there. Keeping things airy, you know? Yeah, man. Larry woke up the Ross in me. Rastaman. There's Tina C. Tina C, how you be? Up late tonight? You're a night owl, huh, Tina? How's Los Angeles been for you? Hopefully well. You know, it's wild out there. So speaking, look, we're gonna get into a quick speaking of Los Angeles and no, hold up. Right before that, we'll get into the local news. So we're just touching on the Sierras here, a new report out of the Bigfoot mapping project. And so, you know, I'd like to keep a ear out on what's going on in the state, different areas, especially the squatchy areas. And the Sierras is one of them. Yeah. And then, you know, going inland, I keep an eye on the coast. And so up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I've been to Santa Cruz before, but a couple times. Couple times, yeah. And usually we go and do the what is it, the boardwalk and everything. Never really been up into the hills of Santa Cruz, or like, you know, they have redwoods up there too. Haven't checked those out. I've done the redwoods in Big Sur, and Big Sur is actually that's the where those condors out are that we've been checking out. And let's see, someone dropping a message there. Woo Reezy, thank you for dropping a message, bro. Uh, and we'll probably skip the condor cam tonight since we've been diving into the portal already. So, yeah. So a trippy, weird report here. I don't know quite the details, but it's out of the Santa Cruz Mountains and shot out, shout or shot, pew pew out to my peeps up in Santa Cruz and those coastal areas. Let's see here. We're gonna try and share something. Need to pop out of something here. And it's like that. There we go. He's learning. He's learning. All right. Some folks, heads up, cover your eyes. It's a little more morbid news here. And this is Lookout Santa Cruz. And so it says here, so I got a TikTok sent to me earlier because there's people that are my sources for certain places, and so I checked it out. I was like, ooh, doesn't sound good here. Um yeah, two bodies found in the Santa Cruz Mountains, CHP investigating. And yeah, we could take a look at this really quick. I don't think it's a long article. And I'll read it off here. Law enforcement officials are investigating what they say is the suspicious death of two people whose bodies were found in the Santa Cruz Mountains this week. Andrew Barclay, a sergeant with California Highway Patrol Golden Gate, division, which is investigating the case, told Lookout on Wednesday that officers were called to the area of Highway 35 near Oak Ridge Road, south of Castle Rock State Park. Hmm. At 6:53 p.m. Monday, there they found two bodies inside of a truck, and there's footage. I seen footage of them towing away the truck, and yeah, it seems like total mountain truck. I think it might have been a Ford. Little is known about the circumstances surrounding the deaths, said Barclay, as there are no known witnesses of the incident. He said that the Santa Clara County Coroner's Office will perform an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. Barclay said that until the coroner provides more information, investigators are considering the incident suspicious, in quotes. Santa Clara County Coroner's Office did not respond to a request for comment Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, what is going on up there in those Santa Cruz Mountains? Hmm. And they're labeling it suspicious. So we'll keep an eye on that report there. We do have some more updates I mentioned on some coastal heading up further north on the California coast. We touched on a missing persons case out of it was right on the border, pretty much border of Mendocino County and Humboldt County. And this was a few weeks back. One was a 80-year-old man who was last seen at a local post office. Very small towns there along the coast, very rural. And he was last seen at the post office and wasn't heard from since. And so we've been keeping an eye out. And we got redheaded black belt here, local. Ooh, look at that! Looks like someone got in trouble for some indoor there. Jeez, still happening up there. People getting in trouble. You would think with all the changes in the laws and stuff that things, yeah, no, it still goes on. Let's see here. Right, updates. Here we go. So this is one of the cases here, and the one I was just mentioning. So we'll check that out first. And it's let's see, Mendocino County Sheriff's Office gives results from autopsy of missing Whale Gulch man discovered deceased. So this is the case here. So on 218, so 2/18/2025 at approximately 11:17 a.m., the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office was informed of a possible missing person in the Whitethorn, California area. Very familiar with Whitethorn. The missing person was identified as 84-year-old David Taylor. Prayers out to his fam and him as well. Hopefully he's in a better place now. Who was last seen on 2/6/2025. Taylor resided at a residence in the 77,000 block of Usal Road in Whitethorn, California. Thought he stayed in Well Gulch, but we'll see here if they mention anything of that. The Mendocino County Sheriff's Office learned that Taylor was transported to a hospital in Humboldt County on 2/5 2025, and later brought back to Whitethorn on 2/6, 2025. Taylor was last seen in his vehicle at the Whitethorn Post Office on 2/6, 2025. Sheriff Office deputies took a report from Taylor being missing and coordinated with multiple first responder organizations to assist in searching for Taylor. Let's see here. Where did we go? Search efforts were conducted by numerous local fire agencies, the Southern Humboldt Technical Rescue Team, California Highway Patrol, Humboldt County Sheriff's Office, Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, and Mendocino County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue. After multiple deployments, no clues or evidence were located regarding Taylor's possible whereabouts. On March 25th, a deceased male subject was found in an overturned vehicle in Humboldt County on Beaver Slide Lane in Bryceland. Huh. An autopsy of the subject was completed by the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office. During the autopsy, the decedent was positively identified as David Taylor, 84, of Whitethorn. Taylor died within minutes of the motor vehicle collision of a cervical spine fracture. Wow. The Mendocino County Sheriff's Office and Humboldt County Sheriff's Office would both like to thank the many agencies' personnel for their efforts and assistance in searching for Taylor. Anyone with information regarding this investigation is requested to contact the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office. And there's a number there. So yeah, that's the update on that. And yeah, very unfortunate. And I want to say Bryceland from White. I mean, it's not far from White though. No. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it was raining, I think, in those days that he had gone missing. So, you never know with those roads out there, slides and stuff. I mean, even the name of that road he was on, I think, did it mention something about something slide? It sounded like. But yeah, those roads are known to be gnarly. And if he was just had a medical situation, yeah, could only imagine what happened there. So, again, thoughts and prayers out. And then there's another case. Let's see. They update it. And this one we didn't really go in on. I don't think we shared on a live stream, but I did read up on it. And this one's remains found near Ukiah, identified as missing man. So we've done several live streams on Mendocino County and the missing there, and that's why this last case was brought up. And this one here, again, I don't think I brought up just because it seemed, or I think I might have. I want to say yes. Let's say yes. And so positive identification of man. So Mendocino County Sheriff's has identified human remains discovered on March 22nd, 2025 near Low Gap Road in Ukiah as belonging to Angel Murguia Martinez, a 25-year-old man from Ukiah. Murguia Martinez had been reported missing to the Ukiah Police Department in February 2024. So that's quite a while ago. His remains were found by members of local nonprofit group conducting a trash cleanup in the area. Deputies responded to the scene and confirmed the discovery, launching a coroner's investigation to determine the identity and circumstances surrounding his death. According to an update press release issued by uh, Mendocino County Sheriff's Office on March 27th, 2025, there, a forensic autopsy was conducted on March 24th. A medical records from a known missing person were used to confirm the decedent's identity. His legal next of kin have been notified. The official cause and manner of death remain undetermined, pending further forensic examination and test results. However, authorities have stated that foul play, there go the coyotes, is the neighbor's dog, but that's a coyote there. Hopefully the mic picked it up. Mm. And so Mendocino County Sheriff is asking anyone with information about the case to contact their office, and the numbers are provided there. And yeah, so I remember, I believe in the reports they had mentioned that he took off. That you could see here the feather alert, at risk missing person. If located, use caution. Subject may be armed. Yeah, they said he took off uh, with a firearm, and from what I heard, it was up into like a wooded area or something like that. They were suspecting, not sure, but I can't tell you. There's a lot of these types of cases where people up in these areas go missing, and then they're just found in the woods somewhere. And there was one in the Honeydew area. I'll make sure to write it down so we go in on that one. And this one made, I want to say it made national news because there was a family there locally, and yeah, it went all bad. The father ended up taking out the fam and took off to Reading and then came back into the area. And I remember I was living in Honeydew at the time, right down the hill from this was going down right down the hill from us. And yeah, they brought tanks out. It was a big man search, and it took a little bit. And from what I heard, it was weird. The weird thing was that they found the dude, but they he was a goner, and they said that they had searched that particular area before. So I don't know if he took off and then came back and somehow, I don't know, ended up passing away somehow, took himself out. Maybe, I don't know the details, but I thought that was kind of weird. And there's several other cases that get kind of weird like that that we'll touch on. But in this particular case that I'm speaking of, it could be nothing, could be just something. Like I said, that he took off, came back, and was able to sneak back into the area, even though it was, they had was it, forget what law enforcement agencies were involved, but I'm telling you, they brought the tanks out for that. So it was a very serious deal, and yeah, I believe it made national news. And yeah, one of those big events that happened up there for sure. Let's see here. Where we at? What up, chat? Anyone else pop in here while we've been going down the portal? What else is popping out there? Let's see. Yeah, I'm really hoping those coyote howls picked up. All right, so let's see. Still keeping it squatchy. So I touched on a few festivities going on this year, and this is another one that really I wish and I hope I could make it to. I would definitely hit this one if possible, and we'll see how the rest of this year pans out. A lot of times we do make it to the Willow Creek Bigfoot Days. That one's always fun, but I'd love to check out another Bigfoot festival somewhere else as well. And Oregon, mm, I could only imagine. And so, what is it? Sasquatch Summerfest coming up this summer out in Oregon, and I believe they're not doing Beachfoot anymore. I think that uh, they did the last one already, from what I understand. But Yeah, this one up here in Mount Hood doesn't get any squatchier than Mount Hood. I've never been, but I've heard so much about it. Haven't been this far up into Oregon, but it's high on my list. And let's take a look here. Mount Hood, Oregon Resort. Yeah. Mount Hood Sasquatch Festival at the Mount Hood, Oregon Resort. Join us for our first annual Sasquatch Festival, Friday, April 11th. All right. There's the date. So, couple days, couple nights, and that's going to be popping off. And some presenters there. Looks like Jeff Meldrum, Jeff Davis, Joseph Granda, Cliff Barackman, Michael Freeman, Paul Freeman's son, I believe, Mark Myersell, Clyde Lewis, and I'm sure there's, yeah, looks like more. And VIP activities. Oh, yeah. Talking about that VIP status again. Man, I want to get up there, get the perks and the invites. We're working on it, right? Aren't you? Or maybe you got that juice already. You got that type of pull. Get us into shows and get us discounts and private jet flights. All right. So check the site out here. And maybe some of you are going to be out there. I don't know. Let me know if you're going. Any squatchy festivities going on in your area? Let us know. We want to know what's popping off. Maybe you're having some other cryptid festivities in your area. I know they got the Mothman Festival. What else they got? You know what? I haven't seen a Chupacabra festival. That'd probably be big out here, East LA or something. Somewhere where there's a big Spanish speaking community. Our Central and South American brothers and sisters, they'd be into it. I could see the Chupacabra festivity really being a thing. What do you think? Or there should be a cryptid. I mean, I know there's the cons out there, all the different cons, and I don't like how that sounds. Cryptid con and this con and that one. Mm. But yeah, those seem like fun too. I would like to check those out. But yeah, like a cryptid festival. Usually it's one, it'll be either Sasquatch or this one and that one, but maybe one where they do all of them. That'd be pretty rad. Anyone doing that out there? Sometimes maybe you'll get a pop up sighting, and I'm sure. Is there any Dogman festivals? I haven't seen any like straight Dogman, like dedicated straight to Dogman werewolf type festivals. Is there some out there? Maybe I've been missing out. Salute to you, Gray Owl. I seen you're still working on the Vegas incident, the Vegas alien incident. Gray Owl had a post here earlier, posted a video. I still haven't watched it, but it did pop up in my feed, so I'll be queuing that up a little later. There's Russell. Do a hot springs tour. You're bound to observe something and something or other. Yeah, you know what? There's a again. We'll go back since we're touching on some Mendocino County cases. I talked about and shared a channel called Beyond Creepy, and they do a lot of cool different types of cryptids and beings and stuff, and just stories and stuff. And they did an episode on Mendocino. It was called Strange Mendocino. And for some reason, that video is gone. And I keep harping on it. And I've sent them messages, hopefully, that he would do a second part on it. But no, he ended up taking off the part one even. So I wonder what happened there. Where did that video go? And he has another video where uh, he touched on a missing two missing persons cases. It was two women, and I've talked about. He's mentioning hot springs there, Russell. I love hot springs. We've hit quite a few in the state here. Uh, went to one in Oregon. I didn't get in at the time. The Queen did. I had my reasons why I didn't get in, but interesting at that one in Oregon, beautiful spot, and it was misty. We're going through the woods to get to this area. You got to hike to it, and it's up in a secret location. And at these hot springs, there's these pools, and you're up on a hill, so it's super cool. I regret not getting in, but there was I had my reasons, and there was people there as well enjoying it, and I hung out. We had a good time. Um, but there was a teepee structure, a big one, built up there, and I was like, oh man, well, it's where all the people are at. Right on is literally it's like almost like it was built on one of the pools, so you could chill inside the teepee and be in one of the hot spring pools. And it's one of these, stick structures that we find. And but to haul that up there, whoever put that together must have been must have been a lot of work. And we a lot of times uh, we relate these structures to possible Sasquatch activity. So it had me going. And the thing is, I couldn't document it because there's people in the springs there. Some people weren't wearing anything, and I usually, that's how we roll. Um, so I couldn't do that. But yeah, I'd like to visit that spot again. This time, get in. I missed out. Da da da. So hot springs again. So this is a little further south on the California side of things. Lake County, which is right next to Mendocino County. They're neighbors, and there's a famous hot springs out there. Many of you may know. It's called Harbin Hot Springs, and they've they've gone through their fires there. The place has been destroyed several times, and they always make a comeback. Thank goodness. And people don't like that particular hot spring just because it's so popular, and I get it. But yeah, it was one of the first ones I went to, and we've been to quite a few. Even in Nevada, we've been to some. Um, so there's this story from Beyond Creepy, and behind Harbin Hot Springs, you're able to. Oh no, hold up. Yeah, yeah, it's Harbin. I believe it's Harbin. Yeah, Lake County. Yeah, you're allowed to walk on certain parts. Where'd the camera go? Sorry, threw the camera off there. And you know what? I'm gonna have to double check on the spring. There's a couple of springs. I think possibly a hot spring. Now I'm getting confused, but the hot springs is in Lake County, and the story is like one of these. Maybe at Harbin too, but I'm now that I'm thinking of it, there's this other hot springs, and I'm thinking this one's actually, yeah, that's in a different county there. All right. So anyway, the women go for a walk because some of these hot springs you're allowed to walk on the property, and it goes back into the hills. And so they went to go for a walk, and we've done these walks at some of the, I forget which one it is. You could actually like they lend you bikes, and you could go for a bike ride into nature on the property and everything. Super cool. And so the women go out for a walk, and they were reported missing. but then I guess either found later by someone who was, I think, ran the property or something like that, that worked on the property. They were found and they were like disoriented and just completely like out of it. And from what they explained, is like they were abducted by, I guess, possibly ETs or something like that. And I just tripped out because it was one of the hot springs that we went to. So, little hot spring story there, and maybe we could find that one on Beyond Creepy's channel and bring that up. And yeah, that one, it was just one of those stories that really hit because it was like, yeah, I could imagine. And even when I've gone to these places and go out for, a walk or whatever, a lot of times they're in places that, are way out there, and you could just feel the vibe. And there's already a vibe there because obviously the water, the healing waters and stuff like that. And there's something that, to do with hot springs and the old world too. We'll jump into that one of these days. Um, and yeah, so trippy story there that came into mind talking about all this. Thought I'd mention that. Let's see what's Russell saying here. What else we got while we're in Cali? All right, shared the festival there. Oh, yeah. So missing people, and while we're still in NorCal, this also popped into head while I was thinking about all these things we're talking about here tonight. There's a series of Bigfoot sightings in a particular area. Again, going up to the border of Mendocino and southern Humboldt County. There's a famous trip out on this. There's a souvenir shop right on Highway 101. That's right. I think it's on the Mendocino side, right before the Humboldt County line. And some of you may be, if you've been up that way, and we've talked about this quite a bit. I've made little videos here because we would pass by it all the time, and pretty much near our place in southern Humboldt when we were staying in the area there. And what's interesting, right before this souvenir shop, and they also do like chainsaw carvings and um yeah, there's some of the stuff there, all types of different Bigfoot related stuff, and there's like gnome carvings outside, and it's really really cool spot. You can't help but to stop there. It's a big time trap right there, squatchy tourist trap. Uh, and actually, unfortunately, we've touched on the time they got robbed sometime a few years back. They got broken into, and the suspects were caught on camera. And I don't think you know, anything ever happened with that. Even with them being caught on camera, they lost quite a bit of money, but luckily they're still around, and people still pop up there. There's a big sign of theirs. Let's see, where's that? They have another big sign of theirs that's well known, and it pops out usually when you. I've seen people use it as a thumbnail before too. I don't think it's on here, but anyway, Legend of Bigfoot. And so I've gotten several reports. One from a local, really reliable source, a well-known person. Could probably guess who it is, who lives in the area, and he shared, because along here is where uh, a big reggae festival goes on, and you get to camp along the Eel River, and it's usually a 3-day festival. I missed last year's, and yeah, so I've gotten reports out of here. So this one report that was shared to me was during one of these reggae festivals. and it's a trip because they have different camps in different areas, and and a lot of people there. But yeah, these people reported, and they were, I think, it was a woman who, or maybe a couple women, that reported seeing a Bigfoot in their campground, and they noticed that it was a male because that they seen his thing. And yeah, that got shared to me, and that I've heard of reports like that where people focus. Usually when things happen like that, people will focus on one thing, uh, and you get those reports where people will just zero in on the member there, and yeah, that was one of those times, and that tripped me out. And there's been several other reports from that area. There's some in the BFRO further up the road there, not too far. A guy coming down from Oregon noticed something laying on the side of the highway, and the dude made a U-turn, came back around, and the thing was gone. And he said that the back of this thing, which he believed to be a Sasquatch, was facing the road. So it's kind of odd. Like, what was the Sasquatch doing? Taking a nap, facing away from the road or something, or what's going on there, Bigfoot? But yeah, other reports from that same area. So there was one trip out on this one. So a Rasta friend, Yaleri, fellow Ras, the brethren, of ours, coming up from LA, and it's late at night. And we got this recorded. He shared this report with me, and I was there. We were at the up the hill, not far from where this happened, and he explained that he had a sighting right in that area because he talked about the souvenir shop, and he had a road cross sighting, and I was like, "Whoa, wow!" And so he shared with us heavy patois language, so it may be a little difficult to understand. And I again was practicing always anytime I get to try it and practice different languages and stuff like that, I go for it. And so yeah, I was responding and talking back to him in Patois and probably feeling really irie. So now that I probably listen to it, I'd probably be a little embarrassed, but or not. Anyway, yeah, we could pull that video up too. So he explains his sighting there. What else? There's been other sightings in that area also. I think Alex Petikoff recently seen it in a clip that he put in one of his documentaries. He was right at that souvenir shop, and I forget what he was mentioning, but he was mentioning something, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go, that spot again. And a little further south from there, not far at all, they also have one of those mystery spots. The one in Santa Cruz, going back down to Santa Cruz, takes the cake. You see a lot of people with the, mystery spot sticker, Santa Cruz, well known. But the one up in our area is not. And they have one of those there. So it's something to keep in mind, and something about that ground there, and maybe those types of anomalies could go up into other areas, surrounding areas there. I've kept that in mind with the orb activity and strange activity we're having at our place. As the crow flies, these places aren't far at all. And I've mentioned that before as well. But um yeah, those mystery spots, definitely something going on there. Those vortex areas where they have the rooms, feels like you're walking on the side of the wall or upside down, and I never got to go to that one. I stopped recently this year and took a little video there, but never been inside. And hopefully one day that's still on the list of things to do up that way. So much to do. Uh Checking on AXN here. His screen went blank, and looks like he's hauling some the ass there. Uh, maybe he's going to a speed chase. If it gets hot over here, we'll pop him on and check out his feed. All right, so let's see. Going back up to Mendo, what were we gonna touch on? There was something else up there. Yeah, so again, this souvenir spot. Um, trying to think off the bat there because I know there's more. That's all happened around this souvenir area. So there was one time where these two little girls from Southern Humboldt that went missing for I believe it was a couple days. And again, this time we were up on the hill there, and I remember when it happened, and it was like, yeah, it was some rainy, wasn't bad, heavy rain, but there was like some drizzle going on, and even that, I could only imagine being out in the elements and then being, young kids must have been a scary situation. And yeah, they were gone for like a couple days. The whole community, the whole Emerald Triangle was, I'm sure, worried. Everyone knew about it. And eventually they were found. And yeah, it was a miracle. And I actually found a newsreel here and we'll take a look at it. So again, we're gonna, we get a lot into the missing 411 phenomenon here. And just in case, since we're, streaming onto new platforms, trying to reach out to new audiences, and maybe some of those people don't know, or maybe some of the people in the YouTube that follow us here aren't familiar. But we talk about it a whole lot, and I know most of you are very familiar with the missing 411 phenomenon. And in case you didn't know, we'll check out David Politis's site, which we do quite a bit here, and we'll question some more of his work also, because I got questions, and I've been, I wouldn't say fanboy, but I followed him pretty hard for a long time. So, listened to many of his interviews and a lot of them multiple times too. And I've heard him say some interesting stuff, and I've wondered if he remembers himself saying those things. But yeah, and I know some of you have pulled his card, and it's interesting. But whatever, I still follow him and respect him, and I listen to his work and then run it through my filters and see what I find and come up with my own conclusions. I enjoy doing that. And so, yeah, if you know of any strange missing persons cases, we're interested in that as well. And so, drop a link, drop a message, and maybe towards the end we'll share some more of those links again in case anyone missed it. But in the beginning of the stream, we went down the roll call of links that we're sharing here now, different platforms that you could find me and follow me on. And again, that's just for people that are already maybe on those platforms. I'm not you know, pushing anyone to go sign up to anything or, if you're on there, hey, and I love supporting back too as well. Let me know. I'll give you a follow and of course if you have interesting and good content, I love sharing out that stuff as well. And I don't have a problem doing that. So let's take a look at this newsreel. One of the things with the missing 411 phenomenon we've been touching on is there's different aspects, different bullet points, or let's see, he calls it the criteria, Mr. Politis, his criteria of things that happen in cases that stand out that'll qualify as one of these missing 411 cases, right? And so one of the things we've been touching on is missing mushroom pickers and missing berry pickers, which is a thing, right? And we've questioned it before. We've touched on these on several cases, And there was one out of Oregon, which now that I'm learning to share folders, and I don't even think we'll get to that tonight, but I was gonna try. We're gonna try because I wanted to share some footage from the area where one of these cases happened. But these two little girls go missing for 2 days. This is big time, and right here they call it cougar country. You're gonna hear, but we know it as Bigfoot country, and I'm not saying that Bigfoot took these girls or anything like that. But it's weird that people go missing picking mushrooms, picking berries, or they're either found in these areas, where berries might be in berry bushes. I've heard of stuff like that. And so with that comes to mind like the fae, of course, fairies, fae folk, or uh the fairy elements with the mushrooms, and I would imagine the berries too. Um and so we have, what is it? What's happening there? So to me, what comes to mind, and they're both food sources. So maybe is it that, maybe you're taking someone's food, or maybe not asking permission, and then these things happen. I don't know. And it's pretty weird. But anyway, let's take a listen to this report here of these two little girls. And again, this is a good one because they were found and seem to have been found safe. Let me put the volume up.
The two little girls who went missing in Humboldt County for 2 days are speaking out for the first time. The sisters wandered away from home and disappeared in one of the most remote and dangerous parts of California. Miguel Almaguer has our report.
And this is Action News Now.
After surviving 44 hours in the woods, Leah and Caroline Carrico are back home with their parents, sharing their story of survival.
We found shelter, a tree branch close to the ground, and we had my sister's rain jacket to keep us warm.
On
Yeah, check this out.
Friday, the 8 and 5-year-olds asked their mom to go on a walk.
So, yeah, asked mom if they could go on a walk. So I wonder, did they have a big property? Uh, wondering what their layout is like. Because, yeah, you know, if she felt okay for them to go for a walk, I would imagine, maybe they're on a decent size piece of property, I would imagine.
A little tiny more adventure, but I wanted more.
Even though their mother said no, the girls wandered away from their rural Humboldt County home.
I'm just so happy to have my girls back. It really is a miracle.
Surviving on granola bars and drinking water droplets off leaves, the girls say they used their survival skills they learned at wilderness training.
Hey, don't forget to teach those kids, some basic skills. 'Cause check this out, they put it to use.
It was starting to drizzle, so I knew we had to find shelter fast.
With temperatures near freezing, Caroline was afraid in part because they call this mountain lion country, where attacks can be deadly.
My sister cried the whole night, so I told her to think happy thoughts of our family.
With over 200 volunteers searching for the sisters, the girls could see rescue helicopters circling above. They stayed in the same spot, sleeping under a huckleberry bush.
All right. Did you hear that? Found sleeping under a huckleberry bush. And which got my attention because in the 411 phenomenon, when it comes to the berry pickers, the number one, does anyone know the number one berry that is people go missing picking? Is the huckleberry bush. And actually, Politus's dog, his beautiful white Pyrenees, my favorite dog, and we will get a couple of those, maybe more. I used to live, I mentioned the white Pyrenees I lived with. And actually that one had some dreads on it. It was pretty cool, but We eventually cut them. Uh, yeah, for them to be found under a huckleberry bush, I thought was fascinating. I don't know if Politis knows about that one, but I think he might be interested. And the girls don't mention anything else on here. Obviously, this stuff's edited, so maybe they didn't. I'd like to. I wish I could ask more questions, but I don't know. I think this is on something to take note of.
waiting for help.
I'm the proudest mom. I raise superheroes.
2 days later, search teams would find their first clues, footprints and food wrappers, breadcrumbs leading them to the rescue.
I felt a little nervous and a little afraid, but I knew Dad would find us.
I was so happy that I hugged Daddy and Mommy so tight.
Today, back in the arms of their parents, search teams
Very
call
lucky.
this the miracle in the mountains. 2 little girls surviving 2 long nights in the wilderness.
Oof. Yeah, thank goodness, huh? See, got some good uplifting stories, very positive in my book.
Wow. Okay. That was Miguel Almaguer reporting. The mom says she only took her eyes off the sisters for a few minutes when they wandered off. They ended up being
Mm,
rescued about 6 miles away from their home.
6 miles. That is pretty far, and like through hills, so it's not like a straight 6 miles. Uh, it's mind blowing to me. I could only imagine. Uh, yeah. hmm Very weird, my opinion. And so, yeah, I thought I'd share that one with you. Things like that pop into my head. Old cases, and like I said, I go through them with certain eyes, and certain things will pop up to me. And those certain things, sometimes you'll find in certain themes pop up, and there you go, the berries. And and what made these little girls want to go for a walk? I asked myself also, was there something there kind of like leading them for some reason? The weather, I think, weather like that, had been raining and stuff, would really maybe not make kids want to go for a walk like that, but who knows? Them hill kids. And here is Dave's beta site. He's been mentioning, like, my site's still beta and they're going to upgrade. And you can see the first website dedicated to understanding the complexity and issues of searching, rescuing, and investigating people missing in the wilds throughout the world. But this phenomenon obviously is not only going on in the wilds. And he recently also mentioned that yeah, the phenomenon is not only in national parks, which you'll hear, a lot of people focus on just the national park cases, like it's only happening there, but it's not. It's happening in state parks, it's happening in rural areas, and which makes me also question, because there's different, uh, I guess you could say, what's the word? Sects of the phenomenon, different sects. You have He's brought out now truckers, the phenomenon happening to truckers, to pilots, air pilots. He has a book. What is it? Law, land, air, water. His book. And so yeah, water cases, ships. And so there's also cases like his latest post where he touches on um the GHB thing again. So with the cases of, and this is happening in big cities. Uh, the guys that go to bars somehow end up in bodies of water. A lot of times they don't even have water in their lungs. All this weird stuff, and then they find traces of GHB, which is a rate drug. Here, let me try that again. A date drug. There we go. Uh, and how are they getting that in them? Paranormal Files did a really, again, awesome investigation. I think they went to Wisconsin, and yeah, they went to the towns, to actually the rivers where some of these victims were found. And to me, it almost seemed like at that particular town they were in, I was like, man, dude, is it just like the whole town is in on it? The bartender and everyone, did they like, you know, spike his drink or something? Like, I don't know. I wonder. But like, so those cases to me, so Dave seems to clump them up all into one phenomenon, the missing 411 phenomenon. But I think it's obvious that like these, I don't think the air situation, the water situation is the same as it could be, but I don't think in my mind it isn't, as the drowning cases and the cases out in the wilderness or in the national parks. I think there's it could be the same phenomenon, but it's coming at you in different forms. Sometimes well, for the most part, it seems like they're pretty negative cases because the people either never come back or end up deceased or in bad conditions. And if they do come back, they're almost like not the same. And I wonder, yeah, there's talks of changelings and stuff like that, which is a whole other portal there that we'll get into sometime. But yeah, so I question all that, like I think it's different. It could be different uh phenomenons happening that are doing the same thing and making people disappear and making all these things happen. And I think maybe when things like that happen, also when people disappear and never come back, it could be a good thing too. People talk about like the rapture and stuff like that. And not that I've thought about that, but I don't think that is gonna happen in the literal sense when you get into like religion and stuff. Some people may believe it, but maybe that's a metaphor for something else as well. I wonder about all that. And let's see here. Hopefully everyone in chat's still chilling. If not, thank you for cruising through. We'll be hanging here a little bit longer. Yeah, we won't get into the Oregon stuff. We're almost getting into 2 hours here, which has been good. We've been flowing. And looks like everything's been popping up as far as the screen shares and everything. So pretty happy overall with that. And I haven't been tripping up on my words too much. I did have the Google Earth, but I don't think we'll be diving into that tonight. I should have popped that up and maybe gone in and looked at some of these areas that we were mentioning, but we'd be here another hour or so. But yeah, we'll do a long stream one of these days or nights when we get maybe a nice bit of time off, which good luck on that, right? But yeah, no, I'd love to rock on for several hours, and I know I could just you know, freestyle in this. This is what we're doing tonight. I had just these things in mind, and this is how we're presenting it, and hopefully it gets your mind going, get that brain going, and maybe you have some information that may pertain to some of the stuff we're talking about here. And I'm always interested, very, very interested in this stuff. Even the not so strange missing person cases. I think they're all strange, but I guess some people will label uh, certain cases high strangeness. We know we're hearing a lot more of these things going on where people are missing, and it's just the information's out there, and it's dark and creepy and scary. And even for myself, most people back in the day, you think like, oh yeah, women or maybe kids. At this point, it seems like they're taking everyone, and so you got to watch your back. Make sure you watch your neighbor's back too. Uh, See, anything else before we head out here? We will do that sound check I was talking about. And in case anyone missed the links, we'll post those links again here. Do a roll call. Got quite a few of them up. And thank you everyone for hanging in there with me if you did. Or if you're watching this later in the AM, wishing you a great day. And yeah, probably not the best thing to watch in the AM. I've learned that sometimes I'd go hardcore, just wake up and get into the tube and check stuff out. Now I do quite the opposite. I do other things before I jump online and then make my way. And then once we're in, we're in, we'll check a lot of view out and checking other things out and, you know, keeping that information flowing. And yeah, we try to bring you the best information possible, because there's just so much out there that stirs stuff up. It's wild. It's really wild. And yeah, it makes me really question a lot of stuff. I'm questioning so much more stuff. And yeah, just having a good time in this life. Got to do that, you know. There's a lot of things working against us, and yeah, you got to stay strong. And I know it's not easy all the time. Believe me. Oh, look at that! I'm getting. No, I don't. Josh Turner sending me a message there on the Insta asking me if I have a Facebook, and I don't. Um, I do, but I use that just to communicate with one person, and I don't use it. And but it's weird because people were still able to find me, and but I'm not active there. Maybe we'll activate that since we've been activating all the other platforms here. At this point, like why not? But yeah, what's up? Anyone interested on coming on and chatting with us? Let me know. Drop me a message. You could jump on here. I'm still gonna get that hotline together. We'll get the phone calls going here. Here's the email. If you want to drop an email, share some videos, pictures, experiences. We're looking for good quality stuff. Yeah, feel free, drop us a, or you just want to say what's up, maybe share your link, contact. I'm always open for that. If you're not too weird. And yeah, anything ever happens, we're keep in touch, you know, shoot a text or give a call. Um, yeah, we care about each other here. Unlike some peeps. They know who they are. But yeah, no, for the most part, we all love here. You know, a lot of you I touch base with, greet you, and respect you. And yeah, so many people out there, yeah, helping out as well, and we try to help as much where we can. And yeah, we keep it going, keep it flowing. Where we at? All right, let's double check the shares here. Make sure we're not missing anything tonight. We did skip quite a few cameras, but we can always share Eagle Cam. Why not? There's Jackie. I would say that's Jackie. That's Mama Eagle. And there were some updates also on the site here I'd seen. I think I just X'd out that box with some hatches of some new eaglets, I think, somewhere. And some other updates. So check out the site. All you bird lovers. Yeah, I love birds too. Looks like a windy one up there in Big Bear. Yikes. All right, let's see. Exit that. And let's do a sound check. I'll play with the mix here right quick. Let's throw up software here. We'll mix a couple tracks, and I'll play with the volumes. I'll put the volumes down and up every once in a while, just so we'll try to avoid a copyright strike. But I'll try to let these tracks play as long as possible without doing that, so we'll get in trouble. And yeah, just to give you a little update on what I'm doing with the music here. So this is just basically blending a couple of songs, and we'll try and have fun with it. Hopefully it all works out here. So give me un momento. Pulled it up here. Let's see if I could get my. Nope. Let's try this again. Do it like this. All right, got that up. Got that up. And there it is. Let's see here. Let's change the screen. All right. So first track looks like Vienna percussion. We'll be mixing in Crux. Grug. I don't know if that's the name of the artist, but it's on Kindred Volume 1. Let's see what it sounds like. All right, we're not getting audio through. Let's see. Oh, yes, we are. All right. 1 2 1 2. DJ Bigfoot Dwarf in the mix. Oh yeah. Here we go. Let's go. All right. Little sneak preview mix. We'll be doing some cutting and scratching as well. Yeah, hopefully y'all heard that out there. Give me a 420 in the chat. And we'll be peeping the replay, checking how that sounds. All right, let's exit here. Boom. Who's still in here? Anyone awake? Probably mixing to myself there. All right, let's peep out AXN before we head out. See what's popping out there in the city. Let's try this. Boom. All right. We're on our way out. Where you at, AXN? Boom. What? There he is, live.
Suspect in front of Carlos Jr. male, Hispanic, male, black, 35 years, 6'1", medium blue sweater, black, constant dark brown pants. Code 27337 and RD 378.
There's brother Poño, 8888. Salute to him. Aloha, brother.
0293.
Let's see, where are we at? Where we going, AXN? And cheers to whoever bought me a membership for this channel and all the other channels. And a shout out to all the members out there. And it looks like it's taking a break here. Anyway, let's get up out of here, y'all. I'm gonna go jump on his chat over here, say what's up to everyone. Thank you for stopping by here. We'll hit our outro. Boom. Where do we stop the share? Let's see. There I is. I'm losing it now. Time to get off of here. All right, y'all. Let's hit our. There we go. Come on, DJ. Here we go.